All right, Anika, all yours.
Okay. Presentation. Yes.
First. So, very good afternoon to all of you. So, in today's session, we are going to talk about the understanding the relevance of drug interaction studies, which is a necessity for the concurrent administration of drug and herbal medicine. So, we'll move ahead. Can I? Okay. So, in this topic, we will cover the significance of herb-drug interaction, and what are the various mechanisms involved in the herb-drug interaction, and what are the various approaches which we can use to evaluate the herb-drug interaction study. So, when we say herb-drug interaction, the first word come to our mind is what is drug interaction. Can we move to the next slide, please? It's not working. Yeah. So, when we say herb-drug interaction, the very first word come to our mind is the drug interaction. So it is basically a situation in which a substance, usually a drug, affects the activity of another drug when both are administered together. It is called the drug-drug interaction. But however, interactions may not always exist between two different drugs. It may exist between the drug and food, which is called drug-food interaction, and it may also exist between the drugs and various herbal products. That is called drug herb interaction. So we are going to talk about drug herb interactions today. So in the recent years, we have found that the herbal drug product that can treat critical and life-threatening diseases has become the center of attention of many pharmaceutical companies and many discovery companies. Today, we see that many people using herbs either as a food or in the form of medicine, along with prescribed and non-prescribed medicines. So in our day-to-day life, we see that while we are taking medicines for some illness, people used to say that take this herbal extract, it will boost your immunity, or take this medicine, it will help in relieving the pain. So this may lead to herb drug interaction. Even in the clinical practice, polypharmacy is common, and physicians also prescribe us the mixture of drugs. That may also lead to the herb drug interaction. So one of the major consequence of using the concurrent herb medicines and allopathic drugs is the possibility of interactions. Although we, next to this slide, we say that the herbs are natural and safe, but many of these herbs can interact with other medications, and these interactions can be beneficial, harmful, fatal, and causing either potentially dangerous side effect or reduce the benefit from the medication. So it is very much required to have a systemic approach to minimize these adverse consequences and to reap out the potential benefit from this. So for this, we need to understand the mechanism of herb-drug interaction. Basically, mechanism of herb-drug interaction is led by pharmacokinetic interactions and pharmacodynamic interactions. So pharmacokinetic interactions are most commonly reported, but they are very difficult to anticipate, especially resulting from the modulation of drug metabolism enzymes and drug transporters. Another interaction which we can see is the pharmacodynamic interaction. So pharmacodynamic interactions are easy to anticipate, and it involves antagonism, addition, summation, synergies, and even sometimes modulation of the drug product. Then there will be a third category, which is called multiple or complex herb drug interaction. So when both pharmacokinetic and pharmacodynamic interactions occurs together, that is called multiple or complex herb drug interaction. So we'll take each of these in detail in our next slide. So what is the pharmacokinetic interaction? So it basically occurs by the alteration in absorption, distribution, metabolism, or excretion of drug, which result in altered level of drugs or its metabolized. So when it occurs at absorption level, then we take any herbal or allopathic medicine in combination, and any herb which affect the normal gastrointestinal tract environment, it will be responsible for changes in the expected absorption pattern of the drug. then it will lead to herb-drug interaction. A very good example of it is any herbal laxative agent will speed up the intestinal transit, and this may interfere with the intestinal absorption of the concomitant drug which we are taking along with the herbal laxative. So apart from gastrointestinal environment, we have important transporters. Next slide. We have transporters which play important role in absorption, distribution, and elimination of these drugs. One of the most important transporter is the P-glycoprotein efflux transporter. This is also known as multi-drug resistant transporter, and it plays a very important role in the oral absorption of any drug. It can decrease the oral absorption by effluxing out the intact protein from the hepatocytes to the gastrointestinal lumen, and that is the way it decreases the bioavailability of any drug. So modulation of TGP by any herbal constituent may lead to inhibition or induction of these efflux drugs. So there are some reported examples of this kind of inhibition, like green tea contains capsaicins that modulate TGP transport both in vivo and in vitro, either through inhibition or activation of TGP. Then there are some in vitro cell-based studies which suggest that 6-gingerol inhibit the PGP-mediated efflux of daunorubicin and rhodamine 1,2,3. Then apart from the PGP efflux transporter, there are other transporters like multi-drug resistant associated protein 2, which is also known as MRP2. This is also a very important transporter, and it is found in many cancerous cell lines and tumors obtained from the patient, which suggests it may contribute to resistance against treatment with the chemotherapeutic drug. So its main role is to export relatively large hydrophilic compounds like glucuronide, glutathione, and sulfate conjugates of endogenous and exogenous compounds from the liver cells into the bile, and it is also responsible for the biliary secretion of anions such as acetaminophen glucuronide and camptothecin. We have discussed PGP and MRP2. So we have one more transporter in this category, that is PCRP. It is also expressed in variety of tumor cells as well as in normal cells also, but it confers resistance to a narrow therapeutic range of anti-cancer agents than PGP and MRP. So relatively, there is little information about the effect of herbal product on efflux transporters other than PGP, which is very widely studied. So this suggests that we need more in vitro and in vivo data to be conclusive in terms of significance of these pathways of herb-drug interaction on the bioavailability and consequently on the pharmacological effect and toxicity of the affected drugs. This covers our absorption interaction. Now comes the distribution interaction. These interactions may occur with drugs having high plasma protein binding properties and less volume of distribution along with the narrow therapeutic window. So these kinds of drugs have very less free amount to be active in our system. Like very less amount of free compound is available which can show effect. So any change in the drug concentration will lead to a significant effect. One of the very good example of this is warfarin. It is a well-known anticoagulant which remains 98% bound in the plasma, has very less volume of distribution and narrow therapeutic windows. So there are some agents which are known to have interaction with warfarin, which include vitamin K, some types of teas, green leafy vegetables. So these agents interact with the warfarin and can either increase or decrease the effectiveness of warfarin, leading to prolonged bleeding or increase the risk of blood clotting. So it is highly recommended for the patients on warfarin to be extremely cautious while taking herbs along with this warfarin, as they may pose fatal risk to the patient. Apart from the agents that we have discussed like teas, green leafy vegetable, one of the herbal drug, herb, St. John's wort. This decreases the anticoagulant effect of warfarin, and allium sativum also known to increase the bleeding risk. Now comes the metabolism interaction. Metabolism, we all know, is a biochemical modification of xenobiotics by living organism through a specialized enzymatic system. And this will help us to elimination of the drug. So most of the phytochemicals that gain access to our systemic circulation are tend to be lipophilic. And it is very difficult for our body to eliminate the lipophilic molecule. So for this, our body rendered them hydrophilic through metabolism and facilitate their excretion. This occurs in two phases, phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 involves cytochrome P450 enzyme, which oxidizes, reduces, or hydrolyzes xenobiotics and make them lipophilic for the elimination. Now, phase 2 involves conjugation reactions such as glucuronidation, acetylation, and sulfation reactions. That will also increase the water solubility of the drug and help in the elimination. So the fact that phytochemicals can modulate the hepatic as well as extrahepatic expression of DMEs, which can result in significant changes in metabolism of the drugs which we are taking concomitantly with the herbs, can result into herb-drug interaction. That is why FDA also asked for the data of drug interaction. So how herbal ingredients alter the metabolizing enzymes is through induction and inhibition. So induction usually requires several days and it may lead to decrease in the drug plasma concentration, which can ultimately reduce the drug effect. Unlike this, inhibition occurs immediately, and this may lead to increase in drug plasma concentration, which will ultimately have significant adverse reactions or toxicities. Here we have listed some reported CYP induction and inhibition examples. For some CYP induction, St. John's wort induces CYP3A4 2B6. These are CYP metabolizing enzyme, resulting in decrease in plasma levels of irinotecan and imitinib. This means if we take this herb along with the irinotecan and imitinib, it may have adverse effect. Hyperforin, a major active ingredient of St. John wort, is an agonist of PXR gene. This gene can modulate the CYP3A4 expression. It is also reported that the in vivo activity of CYP3A4 was increased by ginkgo extract. So these are some reported CYP inductions. Similarly, we have some reported CYP inhibitions also, like garlic extract inhibit the in vitro CYP2C9, 2C90, 3A4, 3A5, and 3A7 activities. Ginger extract also inhibit 2C9, 3A4 activities in recombinant human CYP enzymes and 2C19 activity in human liver microsomes. In the last, it's some elimination interaction. So basically, the drug eliminates from our body through urine, feces, saliva, sweating, etc. So in for the elimination of drug and xenobiotics, transporter proteins and enzyme play major role. If these transporters may get affected by the concomitant administration of any herb or drug, this may lead to herb-drug interaction. Some examples are like if there are some drug having diuretic effect can affect the elimination of medicinal drug. Similarly, if a drug induces nephrotoxicity, which leads to kidney failure, can result in slow rate of elimination and will lead to accumulation of herbs and drugs inside our body and ultimately lead to toxicity. So, though these elimination interactions are less well known than DMEs, but it can have important effect on PK/PD of any drug or herb. This covers our pharmacokinetic interaction. Now we come to pharmacodynamic interaction. These are those herb-drug interactions that cause change in pharmacological response, mainly at the receptor level. Like pharmacodynamic interactions can change in the mechanism of action of drug. It can alter relationship of a drug concentration to the drug action. These interactions can amplify or inhibit the pharmacological activity of a co-administered drug. A single herb contains many phytoconstituents that can mimic increase or reduce the effect of co-administered drug through simultaneous effect of the same drug target. And this can be in the form of synergy or antagonism. So if the effect of the drug in combination with the herbal medicine is enhanced synergistically or by its additive effect, it can lead to target toxicity. A very good example of this is cranberry, which potentiates the anticoagulant activity of warfarin, which can lead to enhanced blood clotting and can be fatal. Unlike this, the herbal medicines, which may contain antagonistic components, can reduce the drug efficacy and cause potential therapeutic failures. Examples are alkaloids and tannins. When used along with chloroquine in malaria, it antagonizes its effect. So now we have discussed the pharmacokinetic and pharmacodynamic interactions. Now comes the multiple and or the complex herb drug interactions. So when more than one mechanism or combination of interactions like pharmacodynamic and pharmacokinetic interactions taking place simultaneously, then it may lead to complex or multiple herb drug interactions. There are many scenarios in which it can happen. We have discussed a few over here, like concurrent inhibition and induction of one enzyme or concurrent inhibition of enzyme and transporter by a drug or a herb. Like it can, if a drug can inhibit the enzyme and transporter at the same time, then it will lead to multiple or complex herb drug interaction. Another scenario is increased inhibition of drug elimination by the use of inhibitors of more than one enzyme that metabolizes the drug or the herb. Suppose we are taking a drug that is metabolized by more than one enzyme, and simultaneously we are taking some herbs that can inhibit all of those enzymes, then there could be a risk of elevating the drug concentration level inside our body. So this could lead to toxicity. And since more than one enzyme inhibition is involved, it may lead to multiple or complex herb drug interaction. Similarly, increased inhibition of drug elimination by the use of more than one inhibitor of the same enzyme that metabolizes the drug or herb. Like we said, that herb contain many phytoconstituents, so it may be the possibility that a single herb can have more than one inhibitor of the same enzyme, and this will also lead to the multiple or complex herb drug interactions. So to evaluate this, we should follow good approach. So we'll discuss what all approaches we can use to evaluate the herb drug interaction. So first approach is in silico method. These include rule-based modeling, structure-activity relationship, and 3D structure-activity relationship. This is a virtual screening system in which it provides early indication of the possible involvement of CYP in the context to herb drug interaction. So people are now using this to evaluate the early possibility of involvement of CYPs. Apart from this, we have in vitro methods, like for metabolic interaction, we can use test systems like subcellular fractions, liver microsome, cytosol, homogenates, precision cut liver slices, isolated and cultured hepatocytes or liver cell lines, and cDNA expressed enzymes. So these are the most commonly used test systems for the metabolic interactions. For transporter studies, we have CACO2 and MDCK cell lines, which are widely used for the evaluation of transporter studies. So we have in DRL the capability to assess the in vitro herb drug interaction. Now comes the in vivo method. In this, probe substrate and selective inhibitor can be used to explore the effect of herbs on the exposure of drug alone. Like in the curve, you can see when we administered a drug alone, it has a different exposure profile when it is administered along with the another drug. So it may lead to enhance the exposure of the drug, which may ultimately lead to the toxicity. So this method is also available at DRF. We can use in vivo methods to evaluate the herb drug interaction. Now there is other side of herb drug interaction. Till now we have seen an exhaustive list of herb drug interaction which need special precautions But there are some herb drug combinations which are quite safe. In some cases, herbs have been shown to mitigate or prevent the adverse effect associated with the drugs. For example, aromatic herbs such as ginger can be used to prevent drug-induced nausea, and mill thistle can be used to prevent the liver toxicity associated with the drugs. Piperine, which can be used as bioavailability enhancer. Piperine inhibit the efflux transporter, and by this mechanism, it enhances the bioavailability. Several studies suggest that piperine enhances the bioavailability of propranolol, which can be used to achieve better therapeutic control and improve patient compliance. So this is all about the significance of the herb-drug interaction, the mechanism of the herb-drug interaction, and the various approaches that we can use for the to evaluate the herb-drug interaction studies. That is all from my side. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, you may ask.
If anybody has any questions at all, please feel free to unmute yourself and go ahead and ask that. Thank you, Anika. That was really interesting. And how much responsibility then in terms of being able to understand in terms of interactions comes on to manufacturers of drugs?
Yeah, it is very important to know at least the interaction part. If the drug is interacting with the concomitant medications or not. Like if we have different therapeutic areas, somebody is taking anti-diabetic drugs that are routinely taken by many people. So if we are introducing any new product in the market, it is very important to assess this interaction with the known OTC.
All right, great. And also with regular food, like I was noticing when you were speaking,
yeah,
like even with regular food that we would intake otherwise.
Yeah, because in our Indian food, we are taking lots of herbs also.
Right.
So that may also cause some people. Sometimes you see that this person is allergic to this. So this may be due to the interaction also.
Okay.
So there are food or drug interactions also. Like while taking some drug, you avoid this food. So this is basically the herb part.
So therefore the herb element, I mean, as a layperson, the herb element in terms of supplements and how we are even packaging or what we're writing down as warning labels or anything like that as people who create products.
So mostly if you are marketing something as a medicinal drug in the market, so it's a requirement of FDA also to check it for the interaction. Right. It is very much important for a layman also to understand that do not take herbs like anything. If we are already taking some drugs, then it becomes very important for us to know the importance of herb drug interaction.
Super. Great. Thank you. Any other questions?
Yeah, Anika, Gaurav this side. First of all, this was a really good presentation. Just one question. When you mentioned that we can do experimentally the in vivo interaction at our facility, so is it really a mandatory thing that both the things which we are going to have should be from the same route of administration?
No, it's not required. It is from the same route of administration. The route
so it can be different one. So in that case, how we are going to match Cmax in that case?
No, we will compare the Cmax. Suppose if we are giving one drug through IV and we are giving another drug through oral route, so we'll draw the profile and we have to just check the exposure, whether the AUC is increasing or not, whether the basically the exposure is the main part, whether its profile is changing or not. So when we have
yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Any more questions?
Thank you, Gaurav, for that question. Any other questions, anybody else? No? All right. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Again, apologies for the confusion that took place at the beginning when we were all trying to join. We will for sure get it sorted out next time. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Take care. Have a good rest of your afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you.